when you're doing your early research about which brands or which content creators you think will be in alignment with you, part of that alignment is you really like how they're doing their content, because you really don't want to come in, you have key messaging, but you really don't want to come in and tell them to do it differently from what they've been doing, because otherwise you're booking the wrong person.
Hi, and welcome to the Bright Minds of E-commerce podcast. I'm Dana, founder of Bright Red Marketing, and I created this podcast because I wanted to bring you the best advice from Australian experts in e-commerce and e-commerce store owners. If you're wanting relatable stories and actionable advice, as well as the latest Facebook advertising strategies, you're in the right place. So let's get into today's episode. Hi, and welcome to the Bright Minds of E-commerce podcast. Today we're here with Nikki Parkinson from Styling You. Welcome.
Great to be here.
It's so good to have you on the show. So can you give us a little bit of a background on your influencer career?
Well, I'm what you call a dinosaur. We're not extinct, but I started as a blogger almost 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So there is still a handful of us around in Australia who were doing that 18 years ago and are still doing it in some way, shape or form. But I have seen every change, every platform arrival, every algorithm, well, there weren't algorithms, but the arrival of algorithms, the rise of the content creator, the influencer, it came from blogging. So
yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, like no one's kind of had a front row seat to this quite like you have, and the couple of you that have been around. What are some of the biggest things that you've seen change in sort of the industry in that time?
I think overall there is a understanding. I'm going to be very general here. Overall, there is an understanding that this is a position that you can work and become and earn money from. Because, yes, in 2008, I got a lot of very strange, I mean, I still do. Like, people don't know how I'm feeling my day. But definitely, you can imagine at a family gathering trying to explain what you were doing as part of your business. There's more of a front row seat to that now. Like, more people are on the apps and they're aware of what a content creator is.
Yeah.
Even if they don't really understand how that person might feel their day or their week.
That would have been a really weird conversation to have back in the day, where like kind of people don't get it now, but it's a thing that people expect, that there are people who earn their living that way. But back then it would have been like, what do you do?
Yes. And I'd been a journalist, so everyone understood that. And then I remember, I don't know what year it was, but it was probably only 2009 or 2010. And there was an article about me in one of the papers, and a relative at the time went, "Oh my goodness, I read that, and I'm going, what do you think I've been doing?"
Oh man, I mean, I feel like everyone sort of underestimates us when we start new things. I mean, I remember when I started my business, people were like, "Oh, cute," and I'm like, "No, like I have a team and manage $1 million." No, cool, cute, fine, sure,
yeah, cute.
I'll do my thing.
And honestly, on the flip side of that, I was being very general because people would not really understand what I do and how this is a business and how I feel my day, basically.
Yeah.
I think they have this illusion that I'm just sitting around having a coffee or a drink or something.
I mean, that's definitely what you do. I've seen the work you've produced for our clients. That's definitely all you've done. How do you think brands' approach to what you do has changed in that time?
I think if we go back, I used to get booked by brands for content on my blog. So that was the chief thing I was getting booked for. The Instagram post would have been a photo and it was cutesy, but it was the blog, which, to be fair, more brands should get across it because the SEO on my blog
SEO is
pretty damn good.
Underrated.
but it's not what they're booking you for now.
Yeah.
And so that would be it would always involve photo shoot, there'd be writing, which was not so far an extension from my previous career. They're wanting to connect with your audience, but the vehicle was the blog, and I've always had my database, so that's the other thing that was always and still is such a great asset to have because I own those assets.
Yeah.
And then the same thing was the message they're trying to sell, what I'm showcasing. We're just showcasing it in a different way, a decade or more on.
Yeah. What is it that makes you really excited to work with a brand?
Okay, let's just start with overall. Ideal client is a brand that I've already purchased from and use. That's a super ideal, whatever niche you're talking about. that feels to me like I am with all my, I'm the friend who is always sending links. We've gone caught up on a walk or a chat, and later I'm sending all the links. I'm just always recommending stuff. So
Yeah.
if it's something that I'm really across and love already, then that is just so easy. And then if I want to niche it down into fashion, which is probably the biggest demand, it has to align with my personal style. And I feel like that comes back to the brand as well. Like, contact me because you think that we're a match.
Yeah.
And I would say that not just for me.
No, I think that's good advice for anyone wanting to find an influencer.
You're not coming to me with your beautiful, colourful dresses when you can see that that's just a small amount. That's my holiday wardrobe. That's just that. Like, sometimes that can tie in, but overall, if your brand aligns with what my personal style is, I've got more chance of selling it for you, because people are seeing my posts because that's what they're looking for. I've also got values around fast fashion. That's not what I'm interested in being a part of. There's plenty of other people who can do that, and no judgment on the consumer, but I'm sticking with my own values on that. And I have such a sweet spot for independent brands, and they don't necessarily have a big budget, but I find ways that I can work with them from a PR perspective, which we can talk about afterwards. But so it just is that alignment. And for me, it's a personal thing, but also that's how I can sell. Like, my job is, if a brand wants to work for me, my job is to sell what they're selling. And if there's no connection there, then it's going to fall flat. It's not going to hit the mark. It's not like putting a model in clothes for your website because they're literally showcasing the garments. It's why, if you like generally what I wear, why you might like what I'm showing you.
Yeah, I love that.
So, yeah.
If a brand's listening, and let's speak like influencers in general rather than just you, what would be like a checklist of things that they should go through to make sure that the influencers they're looking at reaching out to would be a good fit for them?
Really look at their feed. Don't just send a message going, we think you'd look lovely in our clothes. And then I'll go and click through and go, have you actually looked at my feed and seen what I wear organically or the brands that I've worked with? And it's like,
it's not
your
the same.
clothes are lovely, but that's not my style. Like, have a look and, I don't know, start having a conversation with comments and everything on different posts without being spammy, but just start building a relationship. Some of the brands that I've worked with over many years, like, it's been part of a conversation. It hasn't just been like a here they are. So that, I think that's really important. Also, think about the demographic you're trying to reach. If you're a brand who's solely looking for women over 40 as your target customer, or that's part of your brand breakdown, the demographic breakdown, then really find influencers and creators in that age group and demographic including geographic. Ask for insights, screenshots of insights, because there is no use booking someone with 500,000 followers if you're only selling in Australia and they've got 2% Australian audience.
100% agree.
So that's part of your demographic search. And if they don't want to supply screenshots, run.
Red flag.
Red flag. When I had my label, I had someone proactively reach out to me, and it's a very fancy media kit. And I went, and it just wasn't adding up for me. I think I've been in this game for a while, and I'm going,
You're like, I know what's going on.
I feel like I know what's going on here. There's a little purchasing of followers, and I asked for the screenshots. Never heard from them again. Never.
Well, we know what that means.
We know what that
moving
means.
On.
And like, that is just such a simple question to ask. And because people can buy likes, they can buy views, they can buy whatever they want to buy. It just creates a vanity thing that you need to dig deeper on. And that's why the numbers aren't necessarily it's part of the picture that you might be looking at.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't have to be someone with a big following. If you can see high engagement on someone with 10,000 followers, then, and you're building a relationship with them, and you can see that that's working, maybe it started with a gifted piece and you can see sales. Like, it's really about your level where you're at and who are the right people that match the values of your brand.
I 100% agree with that. We've obviously worked with you, and we've worked with a number of other influencers and even like micro creators. Yeah. And sometimes the best results we've had have come from the smaller followings. 100%. Like clients will come to us and be like, oh, we want this person. They got 5 million followers. And I'm like, no, like you're going to get much better result going with someone like Nikki, or someone like this, or someone like maybe someone that's got 10,000 followers that's new and coming up and coming, but they're so your person that's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be so much better for you than going after the $5 million, $10 million person that you think, oh, I'll put all this money into that and that's going to launch my business. Like you're so much better off going with a group of people that more align with your brand.
And I would say a small group.
Yes.
A small, very select. I think part of the process is just finding those people, and that's not easy.
No.
But putting the time at that point is going to give you a payoff that is way better than a scattergun approach and just going for people with massive followings.
Yeah. I also find people sort of expect, like they'll work with one influencer and expect that to be the like biggest success. Whereas like I know you and I have had this conversation before where the best success comes from partnering with someone long-term and like trialing a couple of people and seeing who's your fit, who's your vibe, who do you get the best result from, who can you kind of develop that relationship with. Like this is not I'm going to hire an influencer and it's going to be game changing. It's like, well, like you're building this partnership and this relationship with these people and they're almost going to become like a part of the team, really.
Yeah. And I feel like that also can mitigate against maybe that one-off post didn't come close to doing everything you hoped it would be. But if there's continual seeding, there is a brand association with that. Yeah. And I'm very conscious of not stamping on, like if I'm doing the same niche, that there's a spread out. Like even if there's not that in the contract, I just make sure that there's not like and like the next day.
Yeah.
Because that seems fake to me as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very particular about who I say yes to, when I say yes to, what's the time frame between what I know is booked. And then I do have exclusive arrangements with some clients. So, and that's something that is really great. So Frankie Four is the one that I've been working with for about 13 years now, and exclusively for over a decade. Amazing. So that is a constant seeding. There's agreed content each season, but it's a constant brand association. They wouldn't keep booking me if I wasn't getting results.
Yeah.
All I can say is I must be getting results.
It's doing something. The thing I really love about your content and something that we speak to clients about when they're looking for people to partner with is your content's really interesting because yes, you're partnering with these brands. Yes, you are selling these things. That is your job. But I feel like people follow you because they trust you and you're genuinely giving advice. It's not that you're just selling something in every post. And I think there is a little bit of a rise in influencers that just every post is a sales post, everything is a pitch, and there's not really much value beyond that. And I think your history and like where you've come from has really helped you build that, where people are following you for you and then they trust what you're selling rather than some people that are just out there selling stuff and there's not really any other connection there. So I think that's probably the only thing I would add from my side of things around picking the right person is make sure that content's genuinely interesting, not just a sales pitch from a different brand every other day.
Yes. I guess coming from the journalism side of things, I've always thought that the information should be helpful regardless of whether you end up buying the product that I might be talking about. I spend a lot of time pre-preparing content. I do everything still.
You do a very good job.
Shooting, editing, everything. I just really take time because I really want this to do as well for the client, but I also do it for my organic content. I do the same thing. I really take the time to make sure that this is adding value to the people who might show up on and be served this content and maybe stick around if they like what they see. Now that I am in my late 50s, it's just about like showing up and showing that life just can continue, and we just want to continue to do all the things that helped us have a vibrant life in our earlier years. We're just still doing it now. So that's kind of like why I've always shown up personally as well as branded.
Yeah.
Because, and it's not my whole life. It's not like everything's not shared. But how do you have connection with someone?
Yeah.
without showing a little bit of a personal. And I think that's why we've seen the rise of the founder content as well.
100%.
And employee content, because increasingly in this really tough retail climate, people buy from people.
100%.
People have always bought from people. So it is about creating that connection that you otherwise would have had going in store.
Yeah.
With someone. People want to see. They want to see the backstory. They want to see the real people behind it.
Yeah. And I think especially with like the rise of AI, I think people like yourself that, you know, you've been in it, you've seen it, you share things, you are a little bit real, you're a bit human, like you're educating, you know, founder content where it's the actual founder in their office doing things. People are going to want to see sort of the messy behind the scenes realness of things.
Yeah.
Because it is just going to get very fake and perfect. I mean, there's a time and a place for it to an extent, but I think people really value seeing real people, seeing how things work and having that real connection. I think that connection thing is going to be really interesting in the next couple of years, because I think that's going to make and break people.
It's going to take people off the apps, or they literally will be trying to make their algorithm only show real people.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll have so much AI in every other part of our life that we don't want it when we pick up our phones for recreation.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how it's going to go. Obviously, like, this is my career. To an extent, it's kind of yours too. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, because I'm in agreement. I think we're going to go back to people wanting in-person meetings and not being on phones. And I think we're going to want some humanity back.
Yes. It was interesting. Just this morning, I saw a post. It's a UK digital media company, and they had one AI staff member, and this post was introducing them to 3 or 4 more. And the comments on that post, people were not happy. People were not happy. And I was interested in the comments, because I'm like, is this clever or is this not? And no, they want real people. They're not going to take makeup advice on AI persona. And
it's like Zara had their campaign launch with their AI models, and everyone just went nuts.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
But what do you think e-commerce brands sort of misunderstand about a relationship with someone like yourself for the marketing of their business?
I wouldn't even say it's just for me. I think you have to look, if you want to engage with content creators, it is that digging to find people who might be a match, starting a bit of relationship. I'm just going to start off the bat. Only DM for someone's email address if it's not in the bio. Otherwise, please just email it. If it lands at a time where I'm distracted doing something else, it just I've lost it.
It's gone.
It's right down there. So there's that. There's kind of finding those creators you want to work with. And then it is about what you can offer in terms of budget, gifting. That's where your level has to be. And there's nothing wrong with going in and saying, we're a small business. We're working with just gifted collaborations at the moment. Is that something you're open to? And with the right creator, it doesn't matter what their size. If they feel like they've got a connection with the brand, they might be happy to do something. But that's a PR. A gifted collaboration is PR. And the content creator should do the right thing and not accept a gift if they don't think they will post anything. That's my belief. And we're not talking about unsolicited PR. That's just hopeful and whatever. I think small businesses should build a relationship and make a contact without sending stuff first. But I feel like you have to set your expectations that you can't specify in exchange for a post or in exchange for 3 reels. If we've got a $50 product, the content creator's got to want to include it in their editorial content. They're not doing something specific for you. They're including it in their content, which is very much the media landscape way as well.
Yeah.
So you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. There is a cost to the business, yes, because it's product, but also the creators don't accept something if you don't think you can use it. Generally, I will not accept a gifted product without knowing I could do something. For that, and it fits in with my editorial content.
Yeah.
It's rarely going to be brand specific. It's going to fit in.
It fits in somewhere, I think it's good for small businesses to know that that's an option, because I do think a lot of them go, I wouldn't want to like offend you by reaching out with something like that. But I think if it is a small brand that's very aligned with what you do, or not even you specifically, but
Yep.
an influencer, they're like, look, I know I've made this product that is so perfect for you. Is it an option? Like, it's worth asking the question.
It's worth answering the question. You have to be okay with no.
Yes, but
And
that's
I
life.
would know personally for me, there's certain times in the retail period that I am so at capacity
Not
with
Black Friday, not Christmas.
paid engagements that
It's not
that's
happening.
kind of I just don't have capacity. But then also look for those micro creators where you can go in with a smaller budget, have a marketing budget that you can do. And that's where the rise of the UGC creator, I think, is a really good thing.
Yes.
I don't do straight UGC content because literally, even if it's not on my platform, if it's on ads, they're getting more of a bonus because it's targeting. My audience doesn't know that that's
No, and then
that's
like
paid.
it's your
So
face at this point. Like,
it's paid, yeah. So I don't do it specifically. I offer paid usage on content that has already appeared on my platforms, but that's just my individual thing. Other people would just do straight UGC as well. Another really great way to start building a relationship with an influencer who is aligned with your brand and is excited by your brand, affiliate marketing. And there's enough platforms around now that you could set that up.
Yeah.
And I did this with a suitcase brand. I started this a couple of years ago, and I was proactive on this because I bought these suitcases. I did a lot of research, and I went, oh, I'm about to do a post about these. I think I'm going to go gangbusters. So I contacted them and I just said, hey, would you be open to a partnership? And they came back with quite low rates compared with my standard rates on paid content. And I said, well, how about an affiliate? So we agreed on a percentage, a code for my followers, and I get affiliate commission.
Amazing.
It's been a win-win.
Fabulous.
We're now almost 2 years in on that relationship, and I can actually see how much I've sold for them, and they didn't have to take a chance on me.
No, it's a little less risky.
Yeah,
because I know a lot of brands
you've got to build in the cost, but but I feel like if you can do that, that is a really good way to see whether the alignment between that creator and their audience is going to be a match.
Yeah, I love that. You touched on ads. Now, obviously, you and I have worked together a couple of times for a couple of different clients over the years. We obviously use your content in ads. What are your thoughts on this? Because obviously you very strongly have built your platform. You get lots of success with brands just doing those sorts of things. Where do you sort of sit on how valuable that is for people?
I feel like if you're booking me for one reel, book me as well for usage and amplify that book. And at the moment, partnership ads via that reel on Instagram are probably your best bet. And I feel like if you're going to do that, go in with that budget in mind as well. And even if you come back to it, you can still come back and do that add-on if that's still relevant to what you're selling. I just think it is having been on both sides of the fence, because I used to run my own ads, my label, it will get you cut through. Yeah. It's the same, cutting through the ad algorithm is the same as cutting through the regular algorithm. So if the content performs well or even semi-well organically, it will have more chance of converting ad-wise.
I 100% agree. I would say even we've had influencers, not you, who have not done very well as influencers and content creators play on their platforms. We put some money behind it in ads and it's a top performer and more than make enough money to have justified that investment. So I'm very much team, if you can get usage, get it, because the diversity of faces, bodies, personalities, talk through that you can get using creators rather than needing to get models, because obviously for a lot of brands, you know, getting samples and things at that level is really difficult. So then you're trying to do shoots with actual stock. I find using, you know, influencers and content creators for that just absolutely invaluable, and it's why we still work with you and recommend you to our clients because it works so well.
In the ad mix that you might have,
100%, those
ads are going to reach people who the more artistic, campaign-driven ads are going to reach. So I feel like in the ad mix, you really need that combo, and to the point where we've got 2 or 3 clients now that we've convinced to get very heavy on their influencer strategies, where they're actually dialing back their professional shoots now, because all they need their professional shoots for are wholesale and e-commerce, like on the website. All of the content that performs is content creators and influencers. So they're actually dialing it back. that content needs to be turned around a lot quicker too. So, yeah.
And then it's
be a
also
bit
really
more
helpful,
informed.
like end of season, you've got stock left that you're like, we didn't really get great photos of this the first time around, sending some pieces to, someone like yourself, a smaller creator, whatever, is a really, really great way of like extending that content and getting you to sell through towards the end of
Yeah.
season as well.
Yeah. I would agree. Definitely agree that's the way to go.
How do you find the best brand relationships get built? Like you've spoken a little bit about this, reaching out in DMs and those sorts of things, but are there things that brands do that really help to build that relationship to kind of create that sort of long-term partnership with you?
Yeah, I think about when you're doing your early research about which brands or which content creators you think will be in alignment with you. Part of that alignment is you really like how they're doing their content because you really don't want to come in, you have key messaging, but you really don't want to come in and tell them to do it differently from what they've been doing.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're booking the wrong person. If they're not doing it like you want it to be, you need to find someone else. You've got to trust the creativity. So it's a lot of trust involved, and it's both ways. And you want to do the right thing by the brand. The brand should give you a good brief. Like it doesn't have to be 16 pages,
but something.
But something. All the key things that you want our followers to know about you, or the specific thing that you're selling.
Yeah.
That should be in there. And I feel like it's like a relationship. So good communication on both sides is essential. Professionalism on both sides is essential because
it's life.
It's life. But it's business, isn't it? So and how do you build business relationships? It's both parties being fair and honest and doing the best that they can, both that they can. If I go back to the Frankie 4 one, the relationship started with a gifted pair of shoes, and it built to a couple of sponsored posts on the blog, a couple of times a year, to a full exclusive ambassadorship. So that wasn't an overnight thing.
Yeah, I love that. I think something a lot of people struggle with after working with an influencer is knowing whether it worked or not. Now, obviously, everyone, I think, assumes lots and lots of sales, which doesn't always happen.
Doesn't always happen, and sometimes it will. Sometimes it's the timing,
definitely does.
The product, the thing is all just going to go like that.
100%. And I think everyone expects the latter. But from your experience, what are sort of the things people should be looking at to sort of assess whether something has gone according to plan or not?
Depending on the size of the business, you might see a massive sale explosion following the post. Unless you see that initial spike, I think a code is the way to go if you can do it.
It makes it so much easier to track.
So much easier to track. You definitely can tell if it's a launch or the thing's gone up and you've seen that sales spike.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's what, like, say, real clothes, particularly if it's what that creator was wearing. You don't have an exact track, but you can see, okay, here's the influence that's happened.
Yeah.
But then I just think in the last few years, there's less impulse buying.
100%, especially at the moment.
So there's a longer time frame for that purchase to potentially happen. I feel like that's where a code can give you a little bit of longevity. Also, follower of the creator feels like they've got something. And again, you've got to build that into your budget for marketing as well.
Yeah, 100%. I do think it's definitely more of a long-term game than people expect it to be. They do expect that initial spike and they're like, okay, well, you cost me this much money and I made this much in sales. And I'm like, it's not quite that simple. It's like you wouldn't go, oh, I had a magazine that went out or a TV commercial and it didn't do anything that immediate second. It was a failure. It's like, well, no, you're building that brand recognition. Like you're starting to build that relationship with people. I think there's a lot more value in it than just that initial sales spike. But I'm also on the side where people look at the numbers a lot, and that is sort of
which
what
is
they
fair.
look at.
And I honestly feel awful if I don't have conversion. Sometimes people let me know, sometimes they don't. I think that's really nice. If you're building a long-term relationship, that open and honest conversation that something didn't work.
Yeah.
Can we look at whether it was the timing, whether it was the product? What was it? How can we improve it?
See, that's good to know because I would have gone against that and gone, oh, you wouldn't want to know. So it's good to know that you'd like to know these things.
I think some brands will keep it tight if it has gone well.
Fair.
And they'll be quick to say that it didn't
fine,
go
it was
well.
good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like, that's why sometimes the affiliate stuff looks good for me. I can see
what you're
converted.
getting, yeah.
I can see that people have responded to this. And I think open communication is good.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to, a brand doesn't have to tell a creator exactly how much it sells, but like, oh my goodness, thank
We're
you so
so
much.
excited. Yeah.
We're so excited. We had such a great response. Or if you're in a good relationship, have the conversations like, can we just talk about this doesn't actually work? And the creator has to be open to that.
Yeah.
Like, and not take it as full criticism, but like, okay, so if you want to work with me again, what can we do differently?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want
Fascinating.
to talk about if it is fashion or anything, the temptation is to throw as much content, much product into the 1 90-second. I feel like if you can narrow down, why would I buy this one or two, three things?
Yeah.
It's a stronger message. You really only got 90 seconds to play with. And that's if people hang around for the 90 seconds.
Which we know they don't.
We know they don't. So it's like, how can you narrow down that message? And I think that works better in ads as well.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. It's realistically with ads, it's the first 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then if they stick around for that, you're good.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that little bit's interesting enough.
Yeah. Because you can have your campaign ads and content to kind of cover up on the whole vibe. But like, what if there's a hero product of the season? And you know, your hero product could be something that you've really highly invested in units, numbers, and whatever it's going to be. Yeah. That's because you think that this has got a really good selling power. So you need someone to be able to tell everyone why they need this particular product.
Don't dilute it with a bunch of other things.
Yeah. You have them. They can be in it, and they're all your product, and you get questions about that. That helps with engagement. It's like, where's that t-shirt from? Oh, it's from this brand too, but I've been talking about these pants.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I feel like is good. Like you're still maintaining that brand in the visuals, but what are we focusing on in terms of the product that we're trying to sell? And definitely I get booked mostly for talkies. I call them talkies.
I get everyone to talk if you can, because your campaign shoots, behind the scenes, it's all just like video. Having someone talking through things, touch it, feel it, tell me what you're feeling, hands down, that's good money spent. Fabulous. What do you think this space looks like for the future?
I think we touched on it before with the AI. I feel like the power of creators who do talk, who aren't perfect, they are going to continue to be sought after as part of the brand mix. I feel like there will be, I'm definitely not anti-AI. I feel like it's got such good use in so many different uses, but at the crux of it, we still want people buy from people.
Agreed.
So that is the thing that will, as long as creators kind of continue to not look like AI version. And I don't know if I'm being naive, but I feel like.
No, I'm with you.
That
we could be naive
going
together.
To still be something that they're for.
If someone wants to work with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Via email, which you'll find in my bio on Instagram.
And I can personally attest to the success of Nikki's campaigns. She's worked with a number of our clients. Everything's always amazing. She is spectacular to work with. Our last couple of questions are, do you have a favorite business book or podcast?
I haven't done my research on this one, do I?
That's all right. I'm
going to say business podcast. Yeah, business adjacent, because I think when you're a solo business owner, you kind of just need a little bit of a G-up sometimes. Mel Robbins, I just get little gems that are really helpful, and I feel like sometimes we can get caught up in it, like we just need pure business stuff. Often we just need a little bit of a life reality to kind of, because it all comes down to our confidence, doesn't it?
I agree with that.
In business, and I know she has a lot of people on that talk to a lot of aspects of that, and that really is helpful. I feel like I get my inspiration from real business stories, and if the person doing it has been in the dirt with the business, and that's inspiring to me. Emma Grede is another one that I've been listening to. She is a very incredible, her book's just launched, which I don't have, so maybe that would be a good book. She's like the business brains behind Skims. I think her and her husband had Frame Denim. I'm going to butcher this. Really super successful businesswoman who came from East London.
I have to have a look at that one.
Yeah.
And the last question, which is my favorite one, is what is the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
I'm just going to keep it back to the content space. Right back at the start of blogging is just be you, because everyone else is taken. But imagine if I'd been trying to be someone else for the last 18 years.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting enough as it is. Invariably, real people will meet you because that's what happens. Like, imagine if I wasn't the person that you see online. You just have to be you. Not everyone's going to like you. It's just like the real world. Not everyone's going to like you, but it's so much easier to be you. And definitely in this AI increasing world, that's what's going to set you apart.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for everything. You've shared some wonderful tips and some funny stories. So an absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much, Darla.
Thank you for listening to the Bright Minds of E-commerce podcast. As always, you can find the show notes on our website at brightredmarketing.com.au. Just look for the podcast page. Thanks for listening.